Hey guys, it's Kara, aka The Pretty Little Lawyer, and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for stopping by, and if this is not your first time here, thank you so much for coming back. I am back in my office after my little excursion through the house last week, but there's a difference. I am finally finished with this room. So some of you may know I have been in my house for almost a year. Next week it'll be a full year I've been in this house, and my office has been the #1 priority. I wanted this room done because this is where I spend the majority of my time, both with my day job and vlogging and blogging. So I wanted this room done, and in an effort to complete it, I made some very expensive mistakes. Well, not very expensive, but costly mistakes. I spent more money than I had to, and that was never the goal. The goal was always to be frugal in here. In fact, I drafted a blog about how I was going to complete this office for under $1,000. I'm so glad I left that in the drafts because so many things went wrong. Like, so many things went wrong in this office that I don't even know how much this room cost me. And it definitely had a lot to do with my lack of patience. So it cost me more than it had to. So today I'm going to be talking about expensive mistakes that I made in my office and how to avoid them. The first mistake I made in this room was trying to be cheap. I was gonna say frugal, I was gonna say something that made it sound more palatable, but honestly I was trying to be cheap. And more often than not, trying to be cheap costs you more money in the long run. So my advice to you is not to do what I did. Now, there's nothing wrong with creating a budget and setting a plan. Those things are important, and I think they're a must, especially when you are a first-time homeowner or you just bought a house, because you have a mortgage and you probably put down a lot of cash on the down payment, and it's important that you are financially responsible. However, trying to be cheap and being financially responsible are two different things. And over time, buying cheap products will cost you more money because more often than not you have to replace them, either because they fall apart or because the actual quality of the product will drive you crazy throughout the day. For instance, I have my #1 piece of furniture in my office that I use every single day, which is my desk, and it's made out of particle board. And it looks very nice, but when I'm using it, I can tell that it's made out of particle board. It is not the sturdiest desk. It has plenty of space. It fits the look aesthetically, but it does not function well. And eventually I'm going to have to replace it. So while I might have saved money on the front end, on the back end, this desk is probably going to cost me twice as much as it should have. So how to fix that? Instead of buying cheap furniture from online resources or wherever you may get it, try to buy quality furniture on sale. So if you go to your Crate and Barrels, your West Elms, your Pottery Barns, they have sales often. I even saw a coffee table on our house for like $150 this past week, and their prices are like, the coffee tables are $800 to start. So you can find high quality furniture on sale. Also try the outlets of those stores. Restoration Hardware has an outlet, Our House has an outlet, Crate and Barrel has an outlet. Try their outlets. Also, don't be afraid to buy things secondhand. So there's Facebook Marketplace. I don't know if people still use Craigslist, but Craigslist is a great place to get secondhand furniture. If you're a fixer-upper or you're in a DIY mood, you can try Goodwill. Even Goodwill sometimes even has things in great condition. So secondhand is also an option for getting quality furniture at a cheaper price. Another mistake that I made in this office was not embracing DIY. So like I mentioned, if you go to Goodwill and you see a piece of furniture that is a quality piece of furniture, but it has a few dings or dents in it, don't be afraid to buy that piece of furniture and some sandpaper and some paint and fix it up. Or if you're buying things from places like IKEA, don't be afraid to jazz it up a bit and make it look less like a stock IKEA item. So, and even at IKEA, they have things that you can use to jazz up your items. They have different handlebars, they have different inserts that you can use to make the furniture look more unique and not like something you just grabbed off the IKEA shelf and went with. So as you guys know, I have my Kallax unit here that I DIY'd. I bought the legs off of Amazon, I bought the Kallax inserts, and then I got some cute little knobs for the door. And it doesn't at all look like just a Kallax that I picked up. So embracing DIY is a great way to save money. Instead of buying a $400 storage solution, this whole unit probably cost me $150 and 2 hours of my time. Another mistake I made in this office was going into it without a plan. So I did originally have a plan. If you remember from my very first video about my office, I'll link it here somewhere. I talked about wanting this space to be very serene and not have a whole lot of color and not be very distracting with bold prints and things that would distract me from my work. And it turns out that I hated that plan. I finished the office and it was very sterile looking, almost like a hospital waiting room, and I hated it. And so after the first plan was struck down, I didn't know where to start. So then I just started buying things because I liked them. Like, oh, this looks pretty. Oh, I saw this on so-and-so's channel and I think it'll look cute in my office. And I was buying a bunch of hodgepodge that did not mesh well, did not go together. And so I ended up with a lot of things in my office that were nice, but just did not work well together. So fortunately for me, a lot of the things that I bought for the office worked in other rooms of the house. So the original rug that I bought for the office ended up going into the guest room, and the curtains that not the first set was a loss, but the second set of curtains that I bought for the office ended up in the grandparent suite downstairs, and then I finally, on the third try, Goldilocks, found the curtains that worked for my office. So having a plan is very important. And I've talked about how my plan finally came together when I purchased a piece of artwork for downstairs and finally had a color scheme. That helped this office come together in a matter of weeks. So I was able to work with that color scheme, and also I finally bought a rug last week and it gives the same vibe as the painting downstairs. It's a very abstract rug and it works really well in the space, but it also helps bring some continuity and cohesion to the house. And I've touched on this last mistake, but it is my complete lack of patience with this room. When I got here, I wanted the office done. Every other room, I was like, it'll happen, it'll come together when it comes together, but the office, I want it done. And so I was buying things just to finish it. And this kind of feeds into my last point of not having a plan, but also just rushing my purchases. I need a storage unit, so I'm just gonna buy one. I need a desk, so I'm just gonna buy one. Instead of taking the time to find quality items that I liked, that would last the test of time, that would sustain through my many mood changes, and would be aesthetically pleasing. I just did not have the patience to do the research it took to find those items. But luckily for me, it ended up coming together after several attempts. By now, through this video, you've seen the several changes that my office has gone through in the past 11 months. So it has not been a terribly long time that I've been in this house, and I've had at least 3 changes to this office. So my advice to you is to be patient, develop a plan, buy quality furniture, and just take your time. It will all come together, it will all work out, I promise you. But you know, it's easier said than done. Honestly, obviously, I am an example of that. But hopefully I made these mistakes so you don't have to. Alright guys, that's it. Thanks so much for hanging out with me this week. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions or anything, make sure you drop them in the comments below. And if you are not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any new videos. If you are already subscribed, make sure you hit that notification bell so you are aware when the videos are posted. But as always, I'm here every week on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. See you next week.